This is Denise Matthew. Hope you're doing well. Back again for another week of the transits. So a few things really quick before we get into the transits. One is that I continue to do the mandala of life. We have now finished 2 quarters, the first quarter and the second quarter. Now we're moving to the third quarter. Right after the gate 33, and that will be the gate 7. So we're buzzing right along. And if you want to join or be part of the experiment, please check out all the links below, and we would love to have you. I would love to have you. We also have a new moon happening at basically the end of the transit week. So I'll just quickly talk about that. And actually, it looks like a very positive new moon. So that's something to look forward to. And other than that, let's get into the transits. So it's interesting that we have a new moon, and it's going to be happening in the gate 7, line 4. Now, we know that the gate 7 is a roll gate, or what we consider an archetype. So what happens is it speaks to the type of archetype or leadership that we have as a profile. So for instance, if you have a personality profile 4/6, then this would be the type of leadership that is natural for you when you're actually following your strategy. So this new moon is going to be happening in the gate 7, which means that both the sun and the moon will be in the gate 7. What's interesting is both the sun and the moon are exalted in the gate 7, line 4. Besides that, we have Mercury exalted in the gate 4, line 6. We have Venus exalted in the gate 47, line 5. And we also have Jupiter exalted in the gate 30, line 5. So a lot of exalted energy, or in other words, positive energy, feeding into this new moon, which can start to bring something new into the world. That's where we're beginning something new. And so it kind of bodes like a nice new period that we're actually entering with this new moon. So we have the new moon happening, as I said, in the gate 7, and it's in the line 4. Now, the line 4 can be the line of the opportunist, or also when we talk about the leadership of the gate 7, because this is the role of leadership and also the direction for leadership. This is the direction of logical leadership. And logical energy is always talking about predicting the future and patterns into the future, the things that will sustain us so that we can have order within our future. And that's basically what humanity wants and the collective want. The thing that we usually know about the 4th line energy is there's a lot of fixedness within the energy, which really can be influential in that you're always sort of staying on the same track when you're within your leadership or whatever you're doing in life. So you kind of have that same theme. And if it works well for you, then you can get ahead and have influence in other people because you're kind of consistent with what you're doing. So if we know that the gate 7 is the support of influential leadership or the voice of leadership, this would be kind of the power, as they say, behind the throne. So when we're talking about the 4th line, the reason why the 4th line is exalted is because of the concept of when we're doing a leadership of this style, we're looking for a leadership that is about the people. This says that without the people, there is no leadership. This is talking about followers, and without the followers, there is no leadership either. And what happens is this is a type of energy that when you are in a leadership position and your followers say, you know what, you're not doing a good job, we don't really want you to be in that position anymore, you will abdicate because you know it's best for the actual people that are your followers. You're actually going to abdicate, or you're going to let go of the leadership for the best interest of everybody else, which is actually quite a bit of a sacrifice to make. That just says that this type of leadership is really more interested in the voice of the people and allowing the people to have a say in how the leadership is going forward in the future, the logical direction. And that's what it's all about. So what this is really talking about is this concept of the people having more of a voice in where the direction of everything is going. So maybe this is boding to bringing in the idea of more people having a say in where the future is going. What patterns are we going to lay out? What things are we going to do to get some more stability within the world? Because there's still instability. We still do have the pandemic. The pandemic continues to be something that we're actually dealing with. What can we do in the future so that we can have a better pattern, less chaos, more regularity, or more stability within our future? And this is really talking about the people having an input or a voice in how that's going to actually happen. So that bodes well. And if we look at the other things that are within this, we have Mercury in the gate 4, line 6, which is, once again, Mercury is finding the answers. The answers are coming. The one thing about Mercury is because it is notoriously a type of planet that wants to get onto something new, to move on to new material, new information, that type of thing. And this ability to stick with things is not something that it likes to do. But when it comes to the 6th line, this says that Mercury will allow the process to actually unfold the way it's meant to. So in other words, instead of just getting a fix-it-all band-aid for the problems that we're facing, or the issues with how the future is looking, the patterns, or the stability that we want in our future. Instead of just having a band-aid or a quick fix, this is saying we're going to wait for the real fix, or we're going to actually wait for the real answers, and we're going to have patience in getting the real answers rather than just grabbing anything that comes our way. And we look at Venus in the gate 47, line 5. When we have Venus there, we're talking about this concept of, we just went through the gate 64 where we had sort of these big downloads. Venus just went through the gate 64 because the 64 comes before the 47. So we had these big downloads. In other words, we had a lot of different pieces or sequences of something, but nothing that we have that we can put together to actually find some order within it. What happens with the gate 47 is it actually goes in, figures things out, and starts to kind of put the puzzle pieces together to get that aha moment, that realization, or that clarity for that big thing that we want to bring into being. And finally, we have Jupiter in the gate 30, line 5. And the catchphrase for this particular line is 2 steps forward and 1 step back is still 1 step forward. So in other words, looking at the positive strides that we've made in our lives. So this ultimately has a very positive feeling for going forward for the next couple of weeks at least. And so we might be able to get some solutions to some things that have been longstanding, or some epiphanies, some realizations. We could have some correction to the patterns. We could have people who are being strong leaders, who are showing that the people are more important than the actual leader. Right now, the sun's in the gate 33, and I did talk about this last week. The thing about the gate 33 is that this is considered a stop codon. In other words, there are 3 stop codons. One is the 12, one is the 33, and one is the 56. So it's the end of a process. When we get to the gate 33, this is where we reflect on the experiences that we've had so that we can actually be able to share what we learned within the experience that we had. If we don't have the reflection, you can't really share in a way that people will understand, and it could probably be disjointed. You won't even know what you've learned. So this is that moment where we step back, figure out exactly what it was that we did, what we learned, what was good, what wasn't. And it, even if it's worth sharing, there's a lot of history in this energy as well, where we're looking back at the past and trying to figure out some tips that we could use that might show us ways that we can improve the present. This isn't about patterns. This is about experience. This is about living life. Let's jump in and start to do it and figure out as we go how it works out. So as long as we're looking back at the experience, taking our time, and what this bodes for the rest, for like the general population, is this concept that you want to have privacy, you want to be with your own self, you want to be with your thoughts. And then because we're sort of in the middle of the human design year, this is a time to look back and see where you are and kind of reconfigure to decide where you want to go. So it makes a lot of sense that on August 5th, we go right into logical energy, which is logical leadership. So what we're doing is we're taking all this energy or this information that we're getting from this time of contemplation, this time of pondering about what exactly happened. And now we're starting to build a new path to our future based on what we're finding out. There's potential for a lot of wisdom within this energy and also transcendence as well. But that only comes when we allow ourselves the privacy to be alone with ourselves, to actually go through the experience, to go through the thoughts. And this is also a time to actually be alone. It is one of the alone gates. The other alone gates are the gate 40, also the gate 12, and sometimes the gate 23. This says that when you have an experience, the most fragile time, or the most the time where we might jump into a new experience, is right after one experience has completed. So you have, for instance, people who never really learn those lessons because for some reason they don't get it, because they don't actually wait to see exactly what happened and how they can change it and maybe make a new pattern for themselves, because again, we're moving on to logical direction after this. So if we look at the mandala as a flow of energy, every experience that we have in our life is some way of learning. And if we're actually not getting something from it, learning from it, getting a memory of, oh, this happened, I can share this with other people, or I can even use it for my own purposes so that I know that if this situation happens again, I've been through it, so I know how to work with this energy. So it really is an important time to enjoy some solitude, and to sort of be within yourself. So a lot of potential this week to get some really good realizations or some good kind of punctuation points at the end of an experience to really give us some meaning about what exactly it meant for us. On August 5th, we have, as I said, the sun going into the gate 7, and this is the direction for leadership. It is supportive to the influential leader, or this idea of supporting the right leaders too. I mean, that's a big part of this energy. Who are you going to support in their leadership and their influential leadership? So it's about actually putting your stamp of approval on somebody who can actually get the job done, not just because they're like a good buddy of yours. Are they a good leader? Can they do what they say they can do? Can they bring order to the people that they are speaking for? And those are the types of things that we need to have in any leader. Right now, the earth is in the gate 19. This is grounding in this energy of sensitivity. And what do we need to support the people? What do we need to support ourselves? What do we need in a relationship? It's those big questions that we ask ourselves. What do I need in my relationship? What am I getting in this real world? And how can that shift in the future? So in other words, if you have a codependent relationship, is that something that's good for you? If it isn't, how can you shift it? And it's talking about how much you give to others, how much you give to yourself, how much you give to your partner. When we talk about the gate 19, it is a lot of partnership energy. With the earth finishing up in that energy, we'll figure it out what it exactly means to us, what we need, and how are we going to bring that into our reality. And again, this can be, like I said, if we're looking at the gate 33, the reflection of our experiences in the relationship and how it is working for us can bring us the clarity to know what we need and how we're going to move forward in that. So then when we look at the gate 7 and we know that logical leadership, we look at the gate 13, and this is, again, bringing something into reality. So when we think about the gate 13, this is all the secrets that we keep because there's a good reason to keep them, until eventually there's time to release the secrets. And that would be the gate 33, where we release the secrets at the right timing. And when you carry the gate 13, a lot of people might actually give you their secrets. I mean, that could be something that's very easy for you to be always getting secrets from people, and you're not necessarily looking for them, but they actually just give you all their information so easily. And sometimes you can, this energy, the aura of this energy is so compelling that you could be watching yourself just chatting away about all the things about, your hidden stuff to somebody, and you're looking at yourself and you're wondering why you keep talking about all the things that you normally would never talk about. And yet in this moment, you're just chatting away about all the things that are private, and you're just releasing all those secrets. So it is a powerful energy. Again, this is abstract energy. So it is about the past. It's about past secrets that can lead to a reflection of the experiences that can lead to something good happening. So an example of how the energy of the 33 and the 13 would be working together would be, you have a secret that you're keeping about something you want to do. And I put this in the video that I just made for the gate 33, but I'll just repeat it in case you haven't watched it. And ultimately, it's like you want to buy a house, and you have a specific bid that you have in mind that you want to buy the house. So you tell a few people, oh, I'm going to go and make a bid on that house. And somebody decides that, oh, that's a good deal, I want that house. And they go in, they bid on the house, or they outbid you just by a little bit. They buy the house and you lose out. The other way that you can do it is to wait until you've put the bid in, or you've purchased the house, and then you say, oh, I bought a house, and this is what I did, and this is how I got it. And so from that experience, other people can learn, and you're not sort of outmaneuvered on something that you want to do. So that's how this energy works. It's secrets in the right timing. And that's why when we talk about the 1333 and any of the throat gates that attach to the G center are always going to be projected energy. Or in other words, the timing is really important with this energy, when you speak and when you don't, because otherwise it can go the wrong way. People cannot understand what you want to say. They cannot really get you. And then you get into a position where you feel upset because of something you said, and you don't want to talk anymore, or you don't want to express yourself anymore because it was not a good experience. So that's why this energy is really important, to know when to talk and when not to. And usually you're going to be acknowledged, or you're going to be invited, or there's going to be an opportunity for you to actually be recognized to say your piece, to say what you need to say. And basically the timing is always going to be when your aura says it's the timing, but you can prepare in the meantime to have your reflection, to be able to be ready to express yourself. Right now, Mercury's in the gate 7, and we notice that Mercury has surpassed the sun. And so it's going through the energy before the sun now. So it's kind of priming the pump for the sun to come in afterwards. We know that the sun is going to be the solar energy, or the energy of that shines all around us, the thing that is kind of a feeling everybody is feeling. Now with Mercury, it's more of a communication. What are the media saying? What are people talking about? And that's the kind of energy we're talking about with Mercury. And we do know that it is a very quick energy. So in other words, Mercury is at its top speed, so it's going through 3 gates in a week. So we know that there's a lot to talk about, and the topics are changing very rapidly because Mercury is moving so fast. Right now, it's in logical leadership, and this is really talking about the idea of where are we going to go in the future? What are the patterns we need to bring? And who are we going to support? What leadership are we going to throw our support behind that we have a feeling is going to actually take us forward into the future, into a place where we want to have a better pattern, more stability, and to know that we have this ability to support the right people that will take us in the right direction and give us a better tomorrow, basically, because that's what this is talking about. This is talking about the right patterns to give us a better tomorrow. August 6th, Mercury moves into the gate 4, and we know that the gate 4 is part of the new moon. Ultimately, this is about answers and trying to come out of the chaos, because the biggest fear with the gate 4 is this idea that there is chaos and there's no stability within the patterns. And that can be you can have a lot of anxiety from that, because we want to know that things are going to run as they're meant to. So this could be looking for answers to questions and trying to figure out exactly what's happening. This is like, there are people who will ask you a question and you say, well, I don't know. And then they'll ask you that same question again, but they'll just change it up a little bit. And basically, they want you to give an answer, even if there isn't an answer. And the thing about this is that the answers do come, but they come in their own timing. We can't push anybody to give us the answers if it's not time to get the answer. And we do know that it is exalted in the 6th line. So we will eventually, if we have the patience, get the answers that we need to straighten out our lives, to find that order that we want, to get the patterns that we want. So this could be getting new patterns in your life. The most important thing about the gate 4 to remember is that any answer in the moment is not always going to be the correct answer. And most times, 99% of the time, it's better to wait for the right answer rather than jumping on any answer just to feel like you've got something, because that can give you false information. You act on that false information, and unfortunately, it can lead you down the wrong path. And if you just wait for the correct answer and the supported answer, you could say, then that would be, this answer that is valuable, that can lead you into a more stable future. August 9th, we do have Mercury going into the gate 29, and Mercury is pretty neutral in this energy. There's no exaltation or detriment. So it is just talking about the same thing that we've heard from Mars, whereas Mars was saying, wait, it is the same concept. It is the same looking at how are you being served? Are you saying yes to the right things? If you're not, how can you start to say yes to the things that are best for you and to let go of the rest of it? Because this ultimately is looking at your path and your future and what you need to do in life. This will put you in the right place at the right time if you're saying yes to the right things. And what's really interesting about the gate 29, and just a side note, just watching the headlines of the Olympics that are happening right now, there was a WNBA or some kind of a game where they were playing basketball, the women's, and there was one particular woman, and she actually apparently was just kind of like a last minute addition to the team, the US team, women's team for basketball. They ended up winning a gold. So she ended up getting a gold. And basically they kept saying she was just in the right place at the right time. So of course I had to look at her chart. And I did look at her chart. She has a hanging gate 46, and Mars was actually in gate 29, which would have definitely given her that impact and a full channel, being in the right place at the right time, and succeeding where others fail and failing where others succeed, and literally, to get in the right place at the right time, just to be in that position at the right time was pretty magical when you look at how it all played out from a transit perspective, and that it just kind of worked out. And now she has a gold medal to add to her collection of accomplishments. So it's kind of an interesting energy. So Venus is in the gate 64, as I said when I was talking about the new moon, and this is like big downloads type of thing. And when what the way Ra Uruhu described this, which I think is actually a pretty cool way of understanding it, it's like seeing a movie, but you're only getting parts of the movie. You're not actually getting the sequence of the movie. So in other words, a movie has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And because it is abstract energy, we know that it's cyclical. All energy that is abstract is going to have some cycle, beginning, middle, and end. But with the gate 64, what you get are just little bits, and it doesn't really say that it's the beginning or the middle or anywhere. It's just kind of bits of the movie, you could say. What happens when the gate 47 is involved is that all those little bits are put into some level of a sequence, so you can get that sort of picture that you want, that idea, that aha, that big download, sort of an idea that you want to talk about, an idea that you want people to believe in. So you get this gate 64 with Venus in the gate 64, you have this download, but you don't really know what it means or what you can do with it. And then later on, August 5th, you have the gate 47, Venus moves into the gate 47. And then we have this ability to dissect through the pieces, put them all together, kind of splice them all together and get some sense out of it. And this is where we get that realization. So from confusion, realization to an aha or epiphany about something that we didn't know about. Now, when we talk about Venus, this could be about relationships. Again, relationships or how we work with our money, because Venus can be about material things, resources, those types of things. So it could be maybe the way you're managing your money. You're confused. Where is all this money going? How come I have this amount of money coming in every month, but yet I'm short every month? And you get those aha moments where you start to see where all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together, and you can see, oh, this is where all this money is going. And actually, now I can kind of fill those holes in and start to streamline it or whatever. It's experience, right? And this again could be relationship things that are happening in your relationship, and you're not really sure of how it's all working. And then suddenly you get this aha moment, and you see the clarity of, oh, this is what's happening in a relationship. I see it from a different perspective, and I have more insight into, where I want to go with this relationship in the future. Right now, Mars is in the gate 59. And since we know that Mars is moving a little bit slower, Mars was in the gate 59 last week, and it continues on, and it'll continue on until August 8th. The gate 59 is about intimacy. This is about, it links into the gate 6, which is all about this bonding and sort of you could say even promiscuity, or you could say that, basically this is a bonding that happens before we build a family. Like I said, sexual chemistry, connection. So there could be this kind of a lot of passionate energy with Mars there, wanting to just kind of, let's just get to the next level really quick and move on, and nothing really that's stable. There is this concept of barriers too with the gate 59. This is really talking about breaking barriers. And so this is intimacy of a sexual nature, but it's also intimacy of a nature where you're working intimately with people on projects. So in other words, you're working with them very closely all the time, and you have to sort of break down the barriers between you to be able to actually work on these projects, because otherwise, how are you going to actually work as a team? And that's kind of what this energy talks about. The other thing that you look at is this concept of, will we see people aggressively pushing against the barriers that we have had in place for the pandemic? And that's a question that I wonder. Are we going to see people saying, no, I'm not going to wear a mask. No, I'm not going to do the things that I've had to do, lockdown and all those other things? Are we going to have more people pushing against that, trying to break the barriers in an aggressive way, saying, I'm not going to be held back by these barriers anymore. We're going to break them down no matter what happens. So that's a question that we might see, Mars sort of inflaming the whole situation, where we're just done with barriers. We're done with having restrictions, and we're just going to push ahead and do as we like. August 8th, Mars going into the gate 40. We know that Venus just went through this energy. Venus was kind of taking the time, taking the solitude, being away, taking some recharging time. Now with Mars in this energy, Mars is not going to take the time most times. And it's not as happy within this energy. Mars is not about taking a break and taking time and relaxing and kind of recharging. It's about charging forward. So what this is talking about is this need to watch that you're not working too hard. This could be workaholic behavior where you just won't stop. When you need to stop, you're not listening to your body tell you, okay, you need to slow down. This is the time for a break. This is a time to recharge, to recuperate, to get some of that energy back. This is not going to happen with Mars. And so there's pushing through this energy, pushing your will, pushing yourself harder, basically taking anybody's help, no matter who they are, just so you can get the job done. And maybe you don't have the best help. Maybe you have inferior help, and you're just saying, oh, I just need somebody. I need somebody just to help me. It doesn't matter who they are. But then you're basically not getting the right help because you're just so adamant to continue on, and you can't slow down and stop to wait for the right people to help you, that you're not really going to get much done. It could be someone who's completely untrained and you're asking them to do a bunch of stuff and you're having to teach them along as you go. That's not going to help you. It's better for you to wait, to take the time to take a break, to wait for that person who might be on vacation, who's going to come back. And when they come back, they can help you in a way that you can get a lot done. Or you could say you're going to take a temporary person who doesn't know the job that you want them to do, who doesn't know anything about the tasks that you want to give them, and nothing's really getting done. So this is saying sometimes we need to pause, sometimes we need to step back and let ourselves recharge. And there could be this real push pull with, oh, I have to push myself, I have to keep going, I have to continue to do what I'm doing. And the other perspective is we all need space and time to get our batteries recharged. And especially because this is a will gate, this is half of the 3740 channel. So if you have the gate 37, there's even more of a potential for you to be a hanging gate for 37, or even the full channel, the 3740. There's even more of a potential to be pushing yourself beyond your capability. And the thing about the will center is, if you have a defined will and you're pushing yourself beyond your capabilities, it can sort of push back, and you can have some health issue that will stop you from actually continuing on. So it's something to think about, that you may not want to stop. You might want to push forward, but this is saying sometimes we need to stop. And when we do stop, it gives us what we need to get further ahead than if we had have kind of just pushed right to the end. Like, in other words, you might finish at the same place at the same time by waiting than if you went to push forward and continued on, regardless of the concept that you need a break. And you need to have some time to kind of unwind and kind of just basically be, without having to have a lot of work on your plate. And I know I am jumping a little bit ahead, but I just want to quickly mention that Neptune's been retrograding for quite a while, and we do have it retrograding right back to the gate 22. So from the beginning of May, we had Neptune in the gate 36, and Neptune is illusion. It can be the disintegration. So this is this disintegration of experiences that we just jump into, the concept of having to plan for these experiences, but also this idea that you want to have experiences, and there could be an illusion of what you're going to get when you have these experiences. So now Neptune is going back into the gate 22, and I like to call this grace under fire. So this is the grace to move forward in life and giving our best despite the circumstances that we're facing, to feel as though we are survivors because we were able to push through despite the obstacles that we faced. This is also half of the 1222. So if you have a hanging gate 12, this will bring a full channel, a manifesting channel, also an emotional channel. So this is a passionate energy, this is creative energy, and it is also individual energy, which can come with some level of melancholy. But it can also activate a creative energy that you start to want to focus your creativity, or to use this creativity in a way that you're actually making yourself happy. This is about creating for yourself, not creating for others. This is about feeling good about what you're doing and not really worrying if other people like what you're doing. And that's ultimately what this is all about. But this also does with Neptune, it is this disintegration of this superficial beauty. Where's the beauty that we have in ourselves? I mean, this could be the beauty community and all the makeup and all the things that people are, this illusion that people went into where they put more and more makeup on. This it really comes down to this stripped down kind of natural way of being. And we saw a lot of that when we had the pandemic, where people just started to dress more casually and to feel like they didn't have to put a face full of makeup on or get their hair cut all the time or do all those, this appearance type thing. Now, if that's something that you like to do and it makes you feel good, that's perfectly fine. But a lot of times this was because you felt like you needed to put a face on to face the world. And this is saying whatever face you face the world in, as long as you're being yourself and loving who you are, that's exactly what the world needs. I mean, it's about being an individual, being who you are, being yourself, and being proud of who you are, and not worrying if other people like you, because it is about you being yourself. And the people that like you are the people that are your people, and the people that don't are not your people, and it doesn't matter. So that's what this energy speaks to. And this is our last pass. It will be here until from August 12th. It will move in there August 12th, and it will be there until early March 2022. So this is the last pass to sort of figure out this energy that we've been working with for a couple of years, because Neptune moves so slow. This is the last dissolving of this energy of what does beauty mean to us? Where does it come from? What does grace mean to us? And the last thing to talk about with grace is this idea that despite what's happening in your life, it still matters how you treat other people. So you have people who might be suffering a lot, or they're going through really difficult times, and they could be lashing out at everybody around them. Or you have other people who are suffering a lot, and yet they are able to continue to relate to other people or to communicate with other people with some level of respect. And this is the difference between somebody who is acting in a gracious and kind way despite what's happening in your life. And even though that might be the most difficult thing that you could do, is to actually be kind in a time of strife. That's what this energy speaks about. This energy is saying, can you be the best version of you despite the obstacles that face in your path? And that is one of the biggest tests that this energy will be giving us. And that's it for the transits. I hope you enjoyed them, and I will be back again next week. Until then, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.